Welcome back. So in our last few explainers, we've really been digging into the data on Taiwan's top universities. Today, we're putting one specific institution under the microscope, National Taiwan Normal University, or NTNU. We're going to see how it stacks up and try to understand the massive shifts happening just beneath the surface.
Okay, before we jump into any of the cool charts and numbers, we have to get on the same page about how we're actually measuring popularity. It's really important. Our score isn't just about how tough it is to get into a department. We also look at how many of the students who could get in actually want to go there. So, it's a mix of prestige and what's genuinely in demand. It gives us the whole story.
All right, so this table gives us the 30,000-foot view right off the bat. It's showing the average admission ranks for these 5 major universities. You can see the tiers pretty clearly, right? NTU is just in a league of its own at the top. Then you have this super competitive second group with NCCU and NCKU. And then, look right there, that's NTNU. Its average rank puts it in a head-to-head battle with NCU, placing it solidly in the middle of this elite group.
So what's the big story here? Well, all this data paints a picture of a university at a major crossroads. NTNU's whole reputation was built on teacher training and the humanities, but the world is changing, and the ground is literally shifting under those traditional pillars. For anyone thinking about their future, this is a fascinating look at how a legacy institution is grappling with a whole new era. So, where is NTNU not just holding its own, but actually leading the entire country? Let's start with the university's undisputed crown jewel. This one number, 93, it says so much. That's the national rank for NTNU's Department of Educational Psychology and Counseling, which makes it a genuine powerhouse. And we're not just talking about it being NTNU's top program. This department is so strong it actually outranks most humanities and social science departments at all the other top universities. It's a big deal. Okay, so that's the high point. Now we've got to look at the other side of the coin, the university's historical strongholds, and well, they're facing a very, very different reality.
And wow, this slide just lays it all out there. Look at this contrast. Over at NTU, the English department is ranked 28th in the nation, and it's actually getting more popular. But at NTNU, a department that was once the gold standard has fallen all the way to 141st. And here's the real kicker. Its popularity score saw the single biggest drop of any department in the entire university. That's a huge shift.
And this isn't just about the English department, The pattern is consistent across its core humanities programs. You've got history at 102, Chinese at 111, civics education at 113. Now, these are still very respected programs, don't get me wrong. But the data shows they've slipped from that top-tier, gold standard position into the middle of a very, very crowded field.
But that's only half the story. While its traditional base is facing some serious headwinds, NTNU is seeing some really promising growth in fields that are pretty new to its whole identity.
This chart basically captures NTNU's entire transformation in one single powerful image. On one side, you have the steep decline of its flagship English program. And on the other, you see the clear, positive growth of its electrical engineering department. This isn't a forecast. This is the university's pivot happening right now, in real time.
Now let's be totally clear here. If you just look at the national ranks, these programs aren't yet competing with the engineering giants like NTU or NYCU. Not yet. But the really critical column here is popularity change. Look at that. Every single one of these emerging tech fields is trending up. That's a huge signal that the university's strategic shift is working, and it's starting to resonate with students. So, what's behind all this, you're probably wondering, right? Well, this isn't just about what's happening inside NTNU. It's about these massive societal and industrial forces that are reshaping what students are looking for in an education across all of Taiwan. Okay, so these 3 things pretty much explain everything we've seen. First, you've got the crazy demand from the semiconductor industry, which is like rocket fuel for any engineering program. Second, simple demographics. A falling birth rate means we just don't need as many teachers, and that hits NTNU's core identity hard. And third, there's a growing awareness around mental health, which has turned psychology and counseling into a super high-demand field, and that explains the incredible rise of NTNU's STAR department.
This quote really just cuts right to the heart of the challenge for NTNU. And you can see this trend most clearly in the public-funded programs, the Gongfei, because those are the ones specifically designed to be a direct pipeline into a teaching career.
Just look at these numbers. It's kind of stunning. The very programs that guarantee you a teaching job are consistently ranked in the bottom half of our list.
The public-funded English program is at 318, physics at 359, chemistry at 363. This is a direct reflection of how a whole generation of students views the teaching profession today. They're just not seeing the same appeal or security. All right, so just to round out the picture, this slide gives us a quick snapshot of NTNU's other departments. As you can see, programs in science, business, and arts are generally holding ranks in the middle to lower range. This really just reinforces the main story we've been talking about. Outside of its very specific education-related niche, NTNU is fighting it out in some really crowded fields, which makes the decline of its traditional humanities programs an even bigger deal for its future.
So, let's put it all together. After digging through all this data, what does it tell us about the road ahead for National Taiwan Normal University?
When you boil it all down, it really comes to 4 key things that define where NTNU is right now. First, it has one genuinely world-class advantage in educational psychology. Second, it's got a structural handicap in today's world, no medical school and engineering programs that are still playing catch-up. Third, you can see clear signs it's pivoting toward technology. But finally, and this is the most critical part, it faces the huge risk of its 2 historical pillars, humanities and teacher training, declining at the exact same time.
And all of this leaves us with this one big final question. For an institution with such a long and proud history, how do you honor that legacy while also adapting to a future that demands constant change and innovation? That's the tightrope NTNU has to walk right now.